Psalms 118 verse 24 says that this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Have you ever thought about the word distraction? Distraction is to be drawn away from one thing to another. And in our distraction, we can be distracted away from just how good this day really is. Right now, we're living in a day of distraction. And if we're not careful, we can get so caught up in what's going on that our perspective changes from the positive to the negative, which causes emotional, spiritual, and physical turmoil. I mean, the greatest distraction today, of course, is this virus. It's grabbed our attention through the TV, through social media, through text messages. I mean, you can't get on Facebook today without seeing somebody update the spread of this thing, when we should hit our peak, how many people have died in the last 24 hours, the opening up of the states. I mean, the news is literally causing physical sickness in some. You know, I like what Paul said to the church at Thessalonica, and I like how it applies to us here at Good Sam. He says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 10, he says, "You know how we dealt with you as a father deals with his own children, encouraging, comforting, and urging you to live lives worthy of God." So Paul is charging them as a father. He is leading the way in teaching and training believers how they ought to live and how they ought to behave. Like Paul, I see the same thing going on here. I mean, through administration, through directors, through RNs, through LPNs, through leadership. I mean, we're doing the same thing every day, encouraging, every day teaching, every day training, informing you what's next, what we should do, and how we should respond. And it's a tireless effort. I mean, it's something that is changing daily. You know, another thing that's an observation here is that we love the resident. I think that everybody realizes this, that we love the resident. That's why we're here. I mean, if it wasn't for the resident, we wouldn't have a job, right? But we don't want to forget the work that you do. We don't want to forget about the help that you need. And we don't want to forget about the recognition that you deserve. I mean, I know this stuff is tiring. It's probably more tiring for some than it is others. I mean, those of you who are on the floor, you're hard at it day in and day out, barely even getting time to take a break. And I get that. And I'm sorry that things are the way they are right now, and how difficult, and the changes that have come about in your position. But you're doing a great job. I love what Paul says here, you know, how tiring this stuff is. He says a few verses earlier that we were gentle among you, like a mother. See, earlier he said that, or what we just read was that he was like a father, encouraging and leading and urging and comforting. Now, earlier he said that he was like a mother. Paul is being this parent to the believers, and how we were gentle among you like a mother caring for her children. Now, how does a mother care for her children? I think the same way that you care for the residents, the same way that you care for others, with sacrifice, with gentleness, with patience, with affection. In other words, like a mother, you are imparting your life to others. As a mother imparts her life to a child, so you impart your life to others. I see this happening daily at Good Sam's. I mean, not only towards the resident, but towards the staff and towards one another. I mean, have you seen the windows and the paintings on the windows? Have you seen the signs that are up in the front yard? Have you seen the llama and the news report? I mean, there's so many good things that are going on here. I mean, you've taken it up to the next level. I read just the other day a Facebook post that I want to share with you. And this person says that I have to take a moment and shamelessly brag about where I get to go every day. Even before the virus, that shall not be named, that changed our lives, it was visible. The staff at Atomo Good Samaritan love and care about every person living there. They want them to succeed both physically and spiritually. It's glaringly evident the moment you walk in the door. Now, though, this virus has done something I shouldn't be surprised by seeing, yet somehow I still am. Maybe surprised is the wrong word. How about awe? I am in awe at how this building loves. This virus has hit the up button for this home. Every single department has jumped to do more, jumped to protect our people from not only the virus, but from sorrow, from loneliness, and from despair. It's not easy. It's a daily task, a moment-by-moment task. they tire and need rest themselves, but there's always someone that steps in to take the place. I am so very joyful and proud to get the privilege to work among people that care so deeply for others. Thank you to the nurses, infection control, CNAs, dietary staff, restorative staff, activity staff, maintenance, administration, business department, social services, housekeeping, scheduling, pastoral, and therapy staff for stepping forward into the wind of this pandemic, not back. In truly some of the roughest times, you are showing what Good Samaritan is all about. You are amazing. They close this post with Matthew 25 and verse 40. My guess is if you've read this post, you haven't looked up that verse, so I want to share it with you this morning. Matthew 25:40 says, "Whatever you did for one of the least of these, you did for me." Remember, I said that this is a day of distraction. And if we're not careful, we can get so caught up in what is going on that our perspective changes. For example, anytime I focus on my problem and what this will do to me and how it will affect me, my picture is small and I can't see you because I'm focused on me. So if I'm going to focus on this stimulus check that I didn't get, and really I haven't got my stimulus check yet, and that really kind of bothers me. But if I'm going to focus on that, or if I'm going to focus on a low census and having to cut my hours, or if I'm going to focus on the people who get unemployment making more than the people who are employed, or if I'm going to focus on the government reopening society before I think that they are ready, my perspective changes. I become negative. I become internal rather than external. My perspective becomes small. So those are concerning things. Every one of them are concerning things. But those concerning things can consume our thinking. You need to choose a positive life stance in the midst of a negative culture. Hello? That right there is one of our community members looking to help you out. Isn't that great? So we've got our focus here. And we can focus on the negative, or we can focus on good stuff like that comes right over the phone line. Almost every day my phone rings from somebody in the community that wants to help you. So let's allow this distraction to take us to higher ground. I mean, every adversity comes with the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Let me remind you of some of the benefits. Because of social distancing, because of this pandemic, you know what you have now? You've got more personal time. So use that time to do something that's going to make you better. I mean, help somebody out. Look at that. That's great. You got more family time. You got more movie time. You got more dinner time. You got more time to read. You got more time for walks. You got time to do the stuff that you haven't been able to do. You got more catch-up time to do the stuff that you've been putting off. You got more encouraging time. Text someone, call someone, write a card to someone. Just let them know that you're thinking about them and how special they are. Do something for somebody else. Think about how this crisis can be a springboard into being more generous towards others. We have not been given an overcoming life, but we've been given a life to overcome. And we do that better together. Psalms 118, verse 24. Don't forget it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. Have a great day, guys.